Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Player's Edge. We got the normal cast of characters: Terry, Shawn, Tom. Well, Tom's back, and tonight's guest is Sara Elbadwi. Sara, how are you this evening?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me on. Pleasure to be here. How are you?
Oh, we're doing well, thank you. We appreciate you being here tonight. So you made your way through the horse racing world by Twitter, and then you found your way at Horse Racing Nation. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there and what excites you about what's coming up.
Yeah, so I do handicapping content coordination. So a lot of the ideas for videos, for articles, for different things like that, and having guests on kind of comes from Ed and myself, and then putting all of that together. So planning out the week of what races we want to look at, who we want to talk about them with, and what the best way is to convey that information to all the racing fans out there.
So it sounds like you do what Shawn does. So maybe you should have it Swiss Army Sara. Giselle, you do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I'm open to all kinds of ideas.
Indeed. So speaking of Swiss Army, Shawn, how you doing tonight, Shawn?
I'm doing good. Hey, finally, great to talk to you in person, Sara, or kind of in person. So one thing, we'll go to the Derby. It kind of sounded like you might have your pick. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I definitely do not have my pick for the Derby yet. I'm taking a much closer look at the entire field over the next week or so with making those contender shorts and getting a chance to go watch some of the morning works next week, hopefully. But I'm going to make my final selection probably 10 minutes before post time.
And then we have 22-1 Tom. He's got that black light look tonight. How are you tonight, Tom?
I'm doing okay. Sara, what do you think the hardest type of race is for you to handicap?
Oh, man. I think it's those kind of lower level claimers where everybody is not the most consistent type and you never really kind of know who's going to jump up with a bigger effort that day or what might be changing for them to change their running style or new connections, or there's just so many different variables in the lower levels and it's a little bit more randomness, it seems.
Mm-hmm. And then speaking of random, here is a man of random thoughts. Not really. Terry's pretty clear about things. Terry, how are you tonight?
Good. Hi, Sara. How are you doing?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I was wondering what track do you like to handicap the best, and do you like small tracks or larger tracks?
Oh, anything on the New York circuit is kind of what I'm used to. I spent a lot of time watching those races the most, and that's kind of the tracks I would visit when I was younger as well. So I would say probably Belmont has been my most profitable so far, and the one I kind of key into the most. Of course, Saratoga is beautiful and a great time, but that meet is hard. There's a lot of competitive horses and connections going on over there. So I would say Belmont for sure.
Speaking of New York tracks, you took a little bit of slack saying Andy Serling was so instrumental to you. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, what a polarizing character, right? But I think, I would like to point out, I didn't say he's the best person or the nicest person or the friendliest person. I said his handicapping opinion to me is the best and something I've learned a lot from. And if other people disagree, that's fine. Everybody has to find who works for them, and whatever it is about his analysis, I've learned a lot from it and been more successful from it. So it is what it is if other people disagree.
Yeah, that's Twitter for you, right? Everybody gets to hide behind the keyboard. When you're face to face, everyone can I have your autograph, shake your hand. So you say you're off to Churchill Downs to watch some of the workouts. Have you been to the Kentucky Derby before?
No, I haven't. I've actually only been to Churchill once for the races, and then once again the other day to visit some people for the Courier Journal, because Ed and I are going to be doing that better betting ceremony of sorts next week. But no, this will be my first time going, so I'm really excited.
All right. So when you go to the Derby, you got to have an outfit, right? You got to have the hat. Do you have a hat picked out yet, or is that something you're still working on?
Still in the works. Weighing a couple of options for the whole Derby outfit, but thankfully some ladies of horse racing Twitter are helping me out with that one.
Anything that you're leaning towards, a particular style? Or
Oh,
just
I
kind
have
of
no
everything up
clue
in the
yet.
air yet? No idea yet.
There's like a bunch of tabs open on one section of my computer that's all shopping, and I have no idea what I'm going with yet.
All right. Well, whatever you pick, I'm sure it'll be fun. So, well, we hope to have a little bit of fun tonight. Have you had a mint julep before? You plan on having a few of those, or not
I
really
used
on the
to
not
work
on the
there,
job?
so yes, but not at the big event, of course.
No. Okay. I'm definitely understandable.
Yeah,
Sound like somebody has something to say. Go ahead, Terry.
yeah, I think Derby Wars is affiliated with Horse Racing Nation. Do you
That's correct.
do you get involved with that? And I came to Kentucky as a guest for Derby Wars. I won a contest, maybe 2-3 years ago, and had a great time. I don't know why they don't do that kind of contest anymore. But anyway, do you get involved with Derby Wars at all?
So we definitely still have it going on. It's something that I had a buddy when it was a couple of years ago, and he was like, "Oh, this is a great competition game. You got to check it out." And so when I first got hired at Horse Racing Nation, it's funny, they were, taking all of my information for direct deposit, and they're like, "I think I already have it because we paid you for Derby Wars before." So it's still up and running. It's kind of not, I want to say, the main focus right now as far as expanding, since it already is a pretty established product of its own. But yeah, it's still going strong.
All right.
Maybe Terry can win again and go out to Kentucky
I play
once
it
again.
Yeah, every once in a while I play it. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's fun.
I like to play the horses at the thing anyway, because if I hit big, I want to hit that. I want to hit a pick six like Tom down here. Tom is the pick six king of the house here. So
He is, yeah.
Oh,
well, tonight,
nice.
yeah, he's also Tom and I on Fridays. We do what we call Foreign Fridays, where we tomorrow we're gonna go where Shea Tin in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm.
Shot 10, yeah.
Shot 10.
Champions Day.
So that's always a lot of fun. It's interesting. Have you ever taken a look at the international handicapping, Sarah?
I don't do a ton of international handicapping. I'll watch for the bigger days when the U.S. horses are involved, and certainly as a fan of those bigger races and the international flair that they bring, but not too much now.
No, yeah, I hadn't done it either, and until Tom brought me in. And one of the fun things about it is that you have there seems to me crazy long shots there that we don't really see as many here. It's like race after race after race, so it's almost like you would be just as well off with a random number generator as handicapping skills. So tonight we're going to put our handicapping skills to work at Oaklawn Park. The first race we're going to do tonight is the Apple Blossom Stakes, right? Which is Apple Blossom Handicap. It's a grade one. It's a thin field. I think there are only 5 horses in the race. A couple of big favorites in here between Letruska and CC. Are there any others in here, Sarah, that you think could upset the Apple Blossom?
I mean, it's really hard to get past Letruska. Champion, older female, the Breeders' Cup, you can kind of make some excuses for her with that absolutely suicidal pace. But as you just brought up, I think the only one with a possible chance to win other than her and Cece would be Clairiere. I think she's poised for a pretty big 4-year-old season. She did run on a little bit to end up 4th in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. She's been facing all the tough 3-year-olds all of last year, and I was kind of waiting for her to step up and really get that big win of her own, and then she finally did in the Cotillion. Easy walk in the park for her last time out, first start of the 4-year-old season. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how she stacks up now as a 4-year-old facing some of these absolutely, hard-knocking older mares. And even if she got 3rd, you could still make a case that she's got a really bright 4-year-old season ahead of her. But with a win here, that would be, she'd be at the top, I think, of the older fillies and mares with beating Letruska and CC.
Yeah, that would be definitely tough. So are you going to put Letruska on top? Is that the
Yeah, it's too hard to get past her. I think something would have to go wrong, or someone would have to really send and totally cancel themselves out on the front end in order to beat her, I think.
So Shawn, you're big on that pace stuff. Anybody going to go out with Letruska?
No, and that's why I can't get past Letruska. I can't get past her anyway, but it looks like she'll be able to control the pace. She's the best horse in the field. Sign me up, especially if you get 7-5. I don't think we're going to get 7-5. She's won 18 of 23 career races on the dirt. She loves the distance, winning 6-7, and she's 3 for 3 with Jose Ortiz. So I don't see where we go wrong here. CC, I went second in very good form, 2 for 2 at Oakland. would benefit greatly if somebody can pressure Letruska. I just don't see it. If she doesn't get the pressure, she'll be the one coming late to get second. Clariere, I went third. There really ain't much else in the field. I think she's really against it with class and pace. So she probably not fill it out trifecta-wise, but I don't see her being a major contender here.
No chance. So how about you, Terry? You think Clariere has a chance, or you're going to make it 3 for 3 on Letruska?
Well, it's pretty hard to beat Letruska, as everybody's been saying. She finished in the money 18 out of 24 career races, and she disappointed in the Breeders' Cup distaff, but geez, they were blazing fat fractions. She just got run right into the ground. And also, she had 3 grade 1 races in a row in just 2 months. So I think she had to have a good rest. And then she came back in February and won a grade 3. There does not seem to be any real speed to pressure her, so she should lead all the way. And I like number 3, Clariere, is another entry that will be closing, as most of the field will try and win the race that way. But she has the best dirt speed among today's starters. She has the highest last race speed rating. Trainer jockey combination the last 14 days have won 4 out of 6 races. And anyway, I mean, they've ran in the money 4 out of 6 times, winning 2 races. And then number 5, CC, won a grade 2 in March, and then her usual style breaking mid-pack, closing in the stretch to win. She'll try to repeat that performance, but I don't think she'll catch Letruska. And then number 1, Marichucci, is my 4th pick, won her last race at Oaklawn Park by closing from deep. And she has a veteran jockey, Ricardo Santana, who in the last 7 days has had a really good performance out of winning 7 races out of 13. She has a good workout, 48-2 breezing, 12th best of 67.
Buenas noches, Mr. Jose Diaz. We are talking about Oaklawn Park on Saturday. I hope that's the question that you're asking. How are you, Thomas? You're usually good for an upset.
Not here.
Not here, yeah.
Yeah, there's no other pace in this race to sit on front to push her. And let's face it, she's got 4 starts at Oaklawn. She's won twice, a second and a third. To me, last year she was over raced. I think they just wanted way too much out of her. Hopefully they'll pick and choose their races this year before the Breeders' Cup, as long as she stays sound. I mean, to me, the most impressive race she ran last year was against Monomoy Girl and at Oaklawn. So, I mean, I think she likes that track, and it's really going to be tough to beat her.
I think that was in this race, right? Last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Clariere, yeah, I mean, she had a nice prep for this race. She ran well last year. Decent in the Breeders' Cup. She got floated wide and still ended up finishing 4th. So it's just a matter of whether she can put it together, and there's something on the front end for her to run at. My upset choice is the one, Macariar. I mean, she did it in the CC Oaks, but she's wildly inconsistent. At least as a 3-year-old. I'm hoping as a 4-year-old, because she won her first race. I'm hoping that as a 4-year-old, she's matured a little, and again, maybe a little maturity may be the key. On the other hand, it may take another year. Maybe she needs to be a 5-year-old until she really can put it together. Mm-hmm. But if she does, she's certainly going to be competitive here.
Well, I think when you look at the past performances, we've all talked about it. When Letruska goes unpressured, she wins. She's going to go unpressured. I think if there is a price that can come into this field, it's going to not be the 1 horse. It's going to be the 4 horse, Miss Imperial, because Miss Imperial is the other horse that tends to. You got the other 3, the 1 horse Maracuja, or however we're pronouncing that tonight, Clariere and CC. They all want to come from off the pace, so they're going to be in the back. The one that's going to be in the middle is going to be Miss Imperial. So she's going to try to tag along with Letruska. And if you look at those past performances, when she gets to tag along, she usually does okay. She's going to get to tag along here. And the question is, how fast does Jose go, right, with Letruska? If he doesn't go too fast, I think Miss Imperial can stay along for the trip from beginning to end. And based upon the conversations we've had with Jose, says he's got that clock going in his mind, right, Shawn? So I don't think they're going to go that fast because Letruska won't need to go that fast. That'll carry Miss Imperial along. The question is, can she finish second or will she finish third behind CC? The next race we're going to go ahead and fire off to is skip ahead to race number 8. This is the Oaklawn Stakes, a mile and an eighth. This one is, in terms of pace, it's a lot different than the one we just saw because all the horses look to me like they want to be packed up in the middle. It's not really a true front runner. There's not really one that wants to tail from behind and go from worst to firsts. So how do you see this pig through a python playing out, Sarah?
Yeah, and here I'm looking towards the number 6 horse. I don't know that we're going to get 4-1 like he is on the morning line. I feel like this horse is going to get bet down a little bit. This horse has 2 second-place finishes back-to-back coming into this race. Second last time out to We the People, who was then pretty highly touted and bet really well going to the Arkansas Derby. Didn't really show up there, but I feel like this race is kind of the 3-year-old colts that have faced the tougher horses that are now kind of either were on the Derby trail or are heading into the Derby. They didn't quite stack up. Now they're all kind of facing each other for this race. So I know that Stellar Tap is going to be favored and he makes plenty of sense. And this is the horse that was, Steve Asmussen's winningest winner and made that title come true for him. And he's certainly talented, but I kind of want to see more from him at a short price. He might be a little bit closer early than some of these others, but I think this horse now getting Ricardo Santana Jr. could be a little bit interesting as maybe the second or third choice. And then I also kind of looked to the outside with the 7 Happy Boy Rocket. This horse will be a little bit more of a generous price, not something too crazy, but with the 5-1 morning line, he's a little bit lightly raised. Can kind of make an excuse for him last time out since he broke through the gate early. That always kind of rattles a horse up a little bit, and they don't usually run well after that. And the Tampa form was decent coming into here, having faced Classic Causeway. So I'd give him another shot.
Give him another shot. Happy Boy Rocket. The Skipper too. How did that go? Do you remember that song from Gilligan's Island, Terry? Can you sing it for us?
Oh, I can't sing it, no, but I remember it. So.
I know it was something like Marianne Professor and the Skipper too, or something along those lines.
Yeah, it was.
Terry, we have to have our YouTube moment. This is it.
Yeah, come on, Terry. Let's go. We go viral. Terry singing the Gilligan's Island theme.
No, I don't remember the words.
The Skipper and Marianne. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, something. Tom, you're itching to go with it. No, yeah. But how about you, Sarah? Did you ever watch that show?
I know of it, but I've never watched it. No.
Yeah. You probably haven't missed a whole lot. All right, Terry. Tell us what we're going to miss if we don't follow your picks.
Well, I like my first pick, the number 7 Happy Boy Rocket. Has only had one clunker race, which happened on March 12th, but had an excuse as he was shuffled back at the start and came 5 wide into the return. And then in the next race, he ran 3rd, but again, he experienced trouble breaking through the gate before the start, which Sarah referred to, and which, in my opinion, really affects a horse's performance.
Quick question for you. The horse has been in 4 races. Yeah. Every race it's had a problem.
Yeah. Well,
is it one of those horses that finds trouble or just been unlucky?
Well, maybe it's learned something. Who knows? Anyway, I think you'll see a much better race today. Anyway, I like number 4 is my second pick, Homebrew. Ran a disappointing last race as a favorite, finishing 8th. But I don't think that horse liked the sloppy track. And the trainer, Brad Cox, wins 31% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back to the race. And that trainer in the last 14 days has won 4 out of the last 7 races. I think he will go to the front, try to lead all the way, but I think Happy Boy Rocket will catch him. And then I like number 6, the Skipper 2, has ran 2nd in his last 2 races, closing from deep and earning the highest last speed rating. He switches to a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and also switches to Ricardo Santana. Now I like as my 4th pick, number 1, Clancy's Pistol. Had a disappointing finish in his last race at a mile, but won the 2 prior races at a mile and 16th. That indicates to me that the last race was just not long enough for him. And I think this horse needs a longer distance. So the extra 1/8 of a mile is just what he might need. So, or 16th of a mile. He has a high percentage winning trainer,
Robertino Diodoro.
Yeah, I have a problem pronouncing that and the horses' names. Anyway, he knows how to get horses conditioned well for long races.
Tom, which horses you think are going to do well in this long race?
I took number 7, Happy Boy Rocket, as my top choice.
Yeah.
Last
So you don't
race-
mind that he's had trouble in 4 races out of 4 races either?
Well, yeah, but remember they're adding blinkers.
Oh.
So they've obviously been schooling this horse and with blinkers on, and I think that may help make a difference. I mean, I think it's a matter of it settling and getting a good break, and not
Another question
misbehaving.
for you. Ricardo Santana, pretty strong jockey down there at Oaklawn. He says, I'm out of here on this one. I'm going to take a different ride.
Well, let's see.
All right.
Bill Mott's not going to put this horse in there if he doesn't think he's got a chance. And I think making the equipment change is going to be a big help, and that's where I'm throwing it in there. I took number 2, Stellar Tap, as my second choice. I think he's had more trouble than Happy Boy Rocket in his races. Really, he won his maiden at Saratoga, and then, it's really a question of this horse finally getting a clean trip. What can it really do? And I think it wants more distance, and I think it just needs a better trip. And I'm hoping that with this size of a field, it can do that. I took a number 1, Clancy's Pistol, as my final choice. A claim for 30,000 by Diodoro. They obviously did their homework. He wins a modest allowance race. He's looking at Lucky, so there's obviously some upside in that. I think the last one race is really strange because he's on the first turn, he gets caught wide, and he came out of the 3-post. So that's a little bizarre. Something is not right there. And, they said no rally. I just said strange trip. And then when I watched it, that's my opinion. It was just a strange trip. Again, I think I'm like Terry. I think it needs more distance. And certainly the breeding indicates that it wants something longer, and 1 1/8, maybe even a little longer. You never know. And so I put it as my third choice.
It's the Grateful Dead horse, Long Strange Trip. How about you, Shawn?
So I'm going to disagree with you on the pace a little bit. I think there's one clear leader, and that's number 4, Homebrew, and that's going to be my top pick. I think Jose Ortiz gets to dictate the terms again. Undefeated on a fast dirt track, 2-for-2. Simply didn't like the sloppy track last time and was up against tougher horses in the Smarty Jones. And he doesn't need the lead, and this is the first time Jose Ortiz rides. I went the Skipper 2 for second. This horse has been getting better and is ready for a huge race. Has the highest last race buyer number of 81. First off the claim for John Ortiz, and I actually talked to John today. He said this horse was originally scheduled to go to the Arkansas Derby, but was congested after his final work. They managed to get him to work a bit sharper, and all systems are a go for Saturday. Stellar Tap, I'm going to put Stellar Tap in the winner's circle right now because Stellar Tap is 0-for-3 as a big-time favorite. But he's a horse you got to use in the trifecta. I just will not play him to win. And how many times have I said that? And that horse ends up in the winner's circle. So I'll put him in the trifecta, and for whoever.
Everybody else can just lock him on top, right? Key.
Exactly.
Solo him. In the verticals, single that horse. All right. So I think you're right about the Jose horse, Homebrew, coming home. I don't know, Shawn, necessarily that he did have one race where he won wire to wire, one race back, but I think that's probably really more a reflection of what he faced in that optional claiming 80,000 than what his true running style is. I think his true running style is probably closer to where he broke his maiden and the way he's run in every other race where he's been middle of the pack and then closes in. So, but I can see him maybe going up towards the front, but I agree with you. Homebrew, Shawn, is my top choice. The second one, I'm going with the Gilligan's Island horse 2, the Skipper 2. If you look at that last race, it was a little bit better than it actually looked on paper. If you compare it up to when it ran 1 mile and 70 yards, and even its previous race when it ran 1 mile and a 16th, the fractions were actually a little bit faster because they were faster fractions, and the Skipper 2 was closer to the front in terms of his proximity to the leading horse. So that's an indication of a horse that's running faster fractions. And lately it's been an angle that's been working pretty good for me. Stellar Tap is the next selection for me. Probably the most consistent horse in this field. It's probably raced as it's as lightly raced as any of the other horses in here that are at least any good. The only thing, when I look at those numbers, they're alarmingly consistent to me. which I know for a lot of people, a consistent runner is a good thing. But I come from a world of finance where you're looking for some volatility. You want things to have high peaks and low valleys so that you can get like this accordion and you're trying to catch it from the bottom going to the top. And this horse runs the same race just about every single race. So I think you know what you're going to get. There's not a whole lot of upside in that horse. So if everybody else runs below what Stellar Tap's average is, he'll win. If anybody has any upside, he'll finish second or third. And then finally, Clancy's Pistol, Tom, not only was he 4 wide last race, he was 3 wide the race before that, 3 wide the race before that, and 4 wide the race before that. This time, though, he gets the post. So it's going to be really difficult for the horse to get 2 wide this time around. And I absolutely love Robertino off the claims when he has a horse. And I know this is going to be, I think, the 3rd start for him. But at some point for Robertino, when he has these claimers, he usually gets them to push forward and then take a different approach. So, Shawn, I think Clancy's Pistol might be the one that shocks us and goes to the front.
That would be a surprise.
It wouldn't be a surprise for me considering how Robertino runs his horses, but we'll find out, right? That's the beauty of the races. The final race we're going to do on the day is a $1 million, the second $1 million race of the day, the Oaklawn Handicap. This one's a little bit longer at 1 mile and an eighth. And this is another one of those races. To me, the pace setup looks a lot like the last race that we did, except there's a couple closers in here and maybe 2 that might chase out to the front that can have a little bit of an opportunity to go wire to wire. Do you see it differently, Sarah?
No, I agree with you on the pace setup. I think a lot of people are going to think that Fearless is the free square of the race, and he certainly makes a lot of sense. You know, he's faced Speaker's Corner twice, finished second to him twice, and then got the win of his own last time out in the Grade 3 Ghost Zapper. And then outside of him, you kind of have a lot of the same faces facing each other yet again, and the results will kind of differ, and they'll take turns beating each other. But I'm really interested to see what we get from Idol coming in from California. There's races that he could be running in California either before this or after this, and yet they choose to ship him here for the $1 million purse. He was really, really consistent last year, beating some of the best like Express Train, and Express Train has turned into a total monster this year now. Arguably kind of the most class tested of any of these in California. And if he's fresh and ready to go off the layoff, I think he could be a little bit interesting in here.
Any other horse that you like behind Idol?
I mean, Thomas Shelby is going to be close to the front end, but so is Plainsman, Rated R Superstar. We know he's going to come from out of it. It's kind of just a repeat of the Razorback, Essex, etc. So I think any of those are possible, but I would want to look at the new faces in here.
Just going to go with the Idol. And how about you, Thomas? Who are you going to go with?
I put Thomas Shelby on top. I like the speed angle on him. He likes to fight it out, whether it was with Plainsman or with any other horse. You go back in his history, and he's beaten Mystic Guide, who won the Dubai World Cup. So he's definitely battle tested in terms of types of races. And I think the 1 mile and an eighth, if he's tracked correctly, I think he's going to be very tough at the end. And he's proved that he can fight it out with them. And I took Idol as my second choice. I like the works. I like his ability to run against the top horses and win. But then he pulls a clunker like he did last time out. And he's one of those horses that's lightly raced. He's a 5-year-old. They haven't gelded him yet, so they obviously think there's value. And this is a good way to increase that value. Fearless, I did take as my final choice. Nice win last time out by 6. He was definitely ridden out, so they were looking to get something extra out of him. Today he last 4 races he ran with no Lasix. Today he gets Lasix. So we'll see he's won with Lasix on board. So we'll see. And let's face it, Jose Ortiz of the outside post, he's going to look at what's happening on the inside of him and decide where to go.
Yeah, Jose's definitely, I think, getting more patient as a rider. I think the time down on Gulfstream, because when we had him on, he mentioned he likes to get to the front. And at Gulfstream, it seemed to me like he was working on coming from off the pace and getting the timing better. What do you say about the Oaklawn Handicap, Terry?
Well, I'm going to play like Tom. I'm going to take a long shot, real long shot. Number 1, Beau Luminaire. I watched 3 or 4 of the races that he's done a couple of times. He's finished in the money in the last 10 races and won 3 of those. And he broke very slow in his last race. He lost second place to Plainsman only by a neck and was only 2 1/4 lengths behind Rated R Superstar. With a better break, he would have won that race, I think. He will be closing like a freight train in the stretch and will win this race. Yeah, I like number 5.
Emphatic, not might win. He's gonna win.
He's going to, yes.
All right.
He will win this race.
Confidence.
Number 5, I like number 5, Yeah, I do. I like that horse a lot. I like number 5, Rated R Superstar, won the Grade 3 Essex, closing to beat Plainsman and Beau Luminaire. He has the highest last speed rating, and jockey Ricardo Santana Jr. is in the irons. The last race he won was a 1.16 miles, and I think the additional 1/16 of a mile will allow Beau Luminaire to catch him and win the race. And then I like number 8 as my third choice, Fearless. Won his last race, the Go Zapper Grade 3 Stakes, easily at today's distance. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and he has the best dirt speed, fastest among today's starters. He will be in mid-pack, as he usually is, and close in the lane to try and win. But I think Blue Luminaire will catch him also at the wire. Then number 6, Plainsman. He ran second in the Grade 3 Essex, leading all the way until our Rated R Superstar passed him to win the race. He has a high percent winning trainer who in the last 7 days has won 4 out of 9 starts.
How about you, Shawn?
So I'm going to put Jose Ortiz in the winner's circle for the third race here. Fearless is the class of the field, has been up against a bunch of tough horses in this, has finished in the exact in 11 of 14 starts. And I also think he could get the perfect trip here, having the outside post. And I think there is a bunch of speed in this race. And this is the first time Jose gets aboard Fearless. I went with the speed in the second here. Thomas Shelby, number 2, has been in some pace duels and always seems to hold on for a piece. Last start had a horrible start, was last away up on the rail and had to rush up and get the lead just to die off at the end and finish 4th. He likes the distance too, winning 2 of 3 with a second. Third, I went number 5, Rated R Superstar, the elder statesman of the group, now 9 years old. He's been really good of late, winning 3 of his last 5 races, and one of those losses he finished by less than a length. And I believe he'll have a fast pace to run at, so he'll be coming late.
I'm going to start off with Thomas Shelby. If you like Plainsman, you got to like Thomas Shelby. I do think that those two are going to go out to the front. The only fear for me is that they burn each other out. And that's the big question. If they both go out and run reasonable fractions, they are the 2 fastest horses in this field. They have a pretty reasonably sized early pace advantage over the rest of the field. So as long as they don't decide to blow out their opening quarter, I think both of them are going to be in contention from gate to wire. And then behind them coming in, it's going to be Fearless. It's going to be the strongest closer in the field. So I think if Thomas Shelby and Plainsman do duke it out, I mean, they risk not finishing in the money at all. Fearless will run by them. And then I do like Rated R Superstar. The old guy always seems to be in the mix at the end at Oaklawn Park. And the only thing about Rated R Superstar that worries me a little bit is it seems like he shows up when he's not supposed to show up. And when he is supposed to show up, he doesn't show up. And I think 5-1 is kind of leaning towards like he's supposed to show up. So maybe I might jump off of Rated R Superstar into Idol instead. But I haven't quite made up my mind for that yet. So that wraps up our picks. But prior to coming on to the show tonight, Sara did go ahead and kindly put together a question and answer for us. You can catch that over at horseracingtoday.net. Have you had a chance to take a look at that yet, Sara? What'd you think?
I did. It looks great.
Yeah, I liked it. I read it. It was really good.
Well, thank you. Well, thank her, right?
Yeah,
sure.
She did a great job.
Well, thank you for the questions. I mean, somebody's done their homework and listened to what I've said more carefully than I've listened to what I said. So.
Well, we got to do something a little bit different so we can make that go for sure that we started out with. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Sara, either. But Shawn, tell us a little bit about what's going to start on Saturday.
So we're going to do a jockey survivor contest. It's like the football polls that you do where you pick one team. This time you're going to pick one jockey each day. jockey's got to get one win and you move on, but you can never pick that jockey again. Once you pick a jockey and he doesn't win, you're out. It's free to enter, and we'll give away some HRT merchandise and an exclusive champion t-shirt that said you won the contest to the winner.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, 100%. We're going to make a champions t-shirt. Had you seen this contest before, Sarah, that since Shawn put it out?
I have.
Are you going to join?
I might. I could use some more free swag.
Oh, yes. Well, we can get you some free swag, too, some Horse Racing Today gear. I don't know how that'll play out at Horse Racing Nation. So what do you got on tap outside of that going forward?
I'm sorry?
I said, what's up next for you besides the Derby?
Oh, boy. I really haven't thought too far ahead beyond the Derby since we have so much going on to get ready for the Derby. But as far as like my personal summer, I definitely have to get up to Saratoga again. It's my favorite track to visit. Beautiful area. I have, some friends that I would want to go see. So it's definitely in the cards for the summer. And then looking forward really to Breeders' Cup. This will be my first time going to that as well, since it's going to be right at Keeneland. So right on the home turf here. So yeah, it's a really exciting time to have moved here for the first year, get to see kind of all these events that I've just been on the sidelines for and get to really be a part of it.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Did you ever think when you were tweeting that you'd end up here?
No, not at all. And I was just, the only person in my friend group that had any interest in racing at all. So I was just always, yelling at my phone in the corner at work, and everyone's like, what are you doing? And then my friend was like, you should actually try to get out there. Like, you're pretty good at this. And I was like, no, nobody cares what I have to say. And then a couple months later, it turns out that people kind of care what I have to say, which is crazy. So Here we are.
So when you say what you have to say, where can they follow you? When you say what you say?
Good, bad, and ugly, you can head over to my Twitter at Outrun the Odds.
Outrun the Odds on Twitter, so you can keep up with Sarah there. Shawn, where should folks keep up with us?
At Horse Race Today, the number 2, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Mm-hmm. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, kindly hit the subscribe button, thumbs up on YouTube, as well as likes on Facebook, because it allows for us to move up the algorithms so we can trick the technology, folks. Sarah, we appreciate you coming tonight. We hope you have a lot of fun at the Kentucky Derby. I was going to try to get down there, but fortunately, my son graduates from college that day, and I don't think I can skip it for the Derby. That's kind of close, though. What do you think?
Yeah, okay.
Unfortunately, probably not, but I would try to get out of it.
Out of the Derby, out of going to graduation?
Oh, graduation. Graduations are just, congratulations to him, but god awful to sit through.
They are.
Yes, they are. There's not a lot of fun, but I'm happy to see he's going to go graduate. But I told him, young man, you didn't go to college to work at Target. Now start applying for jobs, because you ain't going to sit around all summer. So does Horse Racing Nation have any openings? No, just kidding.
Oh, always. And he can work from home too. He doesn't have to move here.
He might want to move out of here. Believe me. I think you get to a certain age, you can't wait to get out of home, right? I mean, I know
that's true.
Yeah,
and before we go, Rich, Jose Diaz, what he's asking is if anybody speaks Spanish, can tell him what track we're talking about in Spanish.
Oh,
that might change, but not right now.
Okay.
We're working on it, because there is a pretty good Spanish audience out there, and we don't have the presence to do it, but we're trying to do it. But it's hard to pay people when you got nothing to pay them.
That's true.
Unfortunately. All right, Sarah, thanks again for joining us. Enjoy the Derby. Enjoy your summer up at Saratoga. Hopefully we'll see you up there. Until we see you next time, everybody, we hope your day, your night, your week, and everything you do, Terry, ends up in the
winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic night. Thanks again, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
thanks for having me.